All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Skip Alzheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we watch old 16mm films. And that was a home movie that I scanned for a fellow collector. And lots going on in that. Unfortunately, we don't have a time or a place, but I'm guessing late 20s, early 30s. Somebody who's better at cars and fashion would be able to pinpoint it. And also, people noticed, I love it. You guys noticed the frame rate was wrong. A lot of times these films were shot at slower than sound rate. Sound rate is 24 frames a second. And silent films were often shot at 16 or 15 or sometimes 12. So when we scanned it at just 24 frames. And then normally I speed correct it, but that one I missed. So, oops. There you go. Anyways, it's July. It's already gross outside. It's just going to be gross outside. This is when the AV Geeks go underground and try to hide and avoid the mosquitoes and the humidity. It was so humid yesterday that our new film scanner actually overheated and kind of said, nope, I'm not going to work in this. So we had to come up with a new way to ventilate it. I mean, that's what happens. Personally, I'd love to live somewhere where it wasn't so freaking hot. I don't mind the cold as much, but when it gets hot, I just kind of shut down. Anyways, back to 16mm films. The next film that we have set up is Encyclopedia Britannica, of course. The Fish That Nearly Drowned. Enjoy.
Hello. You must be surprised to hear me speak. But the thing that happened in our aquarium the other day would make anybody talk. A fish almost drowned. It doesn't sound possible, does it? Because everyone knows that fish live in water. Then how in the world could a fish drown? Let me answer this question in the story of The Fish That Nearly Drowned. Now let me introduce myself. I am Silverus, the sheatfish. And this is David, our great friend who takes care of us. He's very kind. I have never seen him eating even one little worm, though worms, as you know, are so delicious. In our aquarium, there are all kinds of fish. This is Guppy. A real beauty, isn't she? And this is Enrique, an angelfish from South America. These are neon fish. And this one is Black Molly, who's also from Latin America. We all live as one happy family. Well, most of the time. And this is the hero of our story. His real name is Fighting Fish, but we call him Cockerel. He comes from Asia and is a remarkable fish. Look, he breathes air. Not many fish can do that. See how he swims to the surface for each breath he takes? Back home, he lives in rivers and flooded rice fields. Because he can breathe air, cockerel is able to live when these waters dry up, as they often do. And even when there's plenty of water, he still needs air. He simply can't get along without it. Being able to breathe air can come in quite handy. It happened that cockerel was soon to become a father. Watch how he is going to use air to prepare a home for his new family. First, David put cockerel and his mate in a separate aquarium. And then they started to build a house made from air bubbles. You must have heard the expression, castles in the air. They say it's very easy to build them, but not so easy to build a real house from air bubbles. For their expected children, Father Cockerel and his mate spared neither time nor energy. He didn't even stop to eat, and if the expectant mother relaxed a little, Cockerel soon got after her. Finally, a magnificent nest of air bubbles was built. Then father and mother put each little egg between bubbles. And for 36 hours, Cockerel watched and took care of them. At last, the eggs hatched into newborn fish. They were so tiny they couldn't swim yet. One might think these tiny fighting fish would drown because they need air, just like cockerel. But with such a father, they have nothing to fear. See how he takes them in his mouth and puts them back between the bubbles so they can get air? Fortunately, the childhood of a fish is very short. And soon the youngsters were on their own. The father's job was now finished, and Cockerel came back to our aquarium. Everybody was looking for his return. But while he was away, a rival of his appeared in the aquarium. This is also a fighting fish, only a dark blue one. It wasn't long before they got into a fight. Now you know why they call them fighting fish. I don't know how it would all have ended if David hadn't partitioned our aquarium in order to separate the two fighters. Now we've finally come to the event I started to tell you about. It happened on Sunday. David went outside for a game of ice hockey. In our aquarium, the day began as usual. I would even say rather well. Everything would have been all right if David had fastened the glass better. Look, our cockerel is trapped under the glass. He can't come up for air, and he has to have air. Something must be done in a hurry. Where's David? Oh, where on earth is that David? Cockerel is gasping for air. Where is David? The other fighting fish can get all the air he wants on his side of the partition. But poor Cockerel. David! David! Cockerel is starting to drown. Help! Help! A fish is drowning. David! Hurry! Hurry! Not only Cockerel, but we all drew a sigh of relief. So this dreadful incident ended happily after all. As you see, our Cockerel feels fine, none the worse for his ordeal. Now I must say goodbye, my friends. I hope you've...
Oh. That was weird. And I saw that it was Moscow educational film, so I don't know. You know, sometimes, so Coronet would sometimes rebrand or take footage from Japanese educational films. Some beautiful stuff, actually. And I'm sure EB must have done it too. But holy cow, that whole narrative and the scary and yikes. Anyhow, yeah, there you go. What do we got here? You know, we're a little EB heavy today, but I'll make it up for you. This next film is about the industrial worker and has some great 70s assembly line footage of people manufacturing. Love it. Absolutely love it. So here's Industrial Worker. Enjoy.
Who comprise more than half of us, are some of the most essential people in our society. What kinds of jobs do they do? What kinds of lives do they lead? These people who produce manufactured goods and process basic raw materials. All the wealth that lies in the earth, the ores, the coal, the sand and the stone, all these hold little for us until men turn them into things we can use. These men, mostly unskilled workers, often find their work strenuous and dangerous. In their daily routine, they rarely have reason to smile. Monotony. One man, one single function, performed over and over and over again. Thousands of repetitions, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Grinding, boring, uninspiring. One man, one function. The fundamental principle of mass production. Men and machines working together with speed and efficiency create the enormous flow of goods so vital to our economy. Build a product faster with specialized tools and teams of unskilled workers, and you build it at less cost. This factory can turn out a new engine every 15 seconds. The assembly line is the key to mass production. Here, workers join the thousands of big and small parts to make the whole. In modern industry, which is enormously complex, the demand is so unrelenting, production so overpowering, one might wonder how a man fits into the system. For the past 6 years, Jerry Suminski has been working in an automobile plant. He is no complainer, but recently, Jerry has been wondering about how he fits into the system, about where he is going.
Good morning, honey.
Jerry and his wife live in a modest home in a Detroit suburb. At 24, his wages already provide for their needs and for a few luxuries. By world standards, the Suminskis, like many other unskilled workers, live better than those of other nations. It takes Jerry 30 minutes to drive to work. From the moment he punches the clock, time, speed, and efficiency begin to count. Jerry's job is one of a shrinking number that requires human hands. Machines have taken over other jobs, and the company may find a machine to do this work. For Jerry, as for thousands of unskilled workers, the answer lies in training for a skilled job, a job with a future. But the future is not always predictable. Take Mike Kowalski. He came from Poland 40 years ago, an unskilled laborer. Opportunities and wages were good then, but times changed. From the Depression of the 30s, Mike learned what sooner or later every unskilled worker had to learn, that his job and his livelihood and that of his family depended entirely on the health of industry throughout the Western world. Many old-timers can remember 20 layoffs in 30 years. Among them, Fred Schmidt. Today, Fred is one of an elite group of industrial workers, a specialist in a skilled trade. Soon after Fred emigrated from his native Germany, he established his own business. Today, he is a master craftsman who manufactures and supplies tools and dies to the giant automotive plants. These skilled craftsmen began their trades as apprentices and mastered them only after years of practice. Today, they pass on this knowledge to younger men on the job. For many workers, apprenticing is the only way to learning a skill and mastering a trade. It is the only way up for some, but not for all. Joe Williams has a skill. Yet, Joe is one of many who wonders what the future holds. Joe's great-grandfather was a slave. His grandfather and father were born in Alabama. Joe is a native Detroiter. He knows about discrimination on both sides of the Mason-Dixon line. Joe is a good worker and pulls down good pay, but things haven't been easy. They still aren't. Joe couldn't buy a house near the new plant, and he pays more for his flat in an older neighborhood than he should. For Joe, discrimination in housing and discrimination on the job are still painful realities. The law and the civil rights movement are slowly changing things for the Williams family here and there. But as yet, they don't see many welcome signs. Joe is a skilled worker, and skilled men are needed. But there's been talk about machines that take over a man's job. About creeping automation. Automation, which promises to revolutionize the entire pattern of industry, is feared by every worker. Just how far can automation actually go? This factory can produce a 2-mile sheet of glass practically by itself. The more specific a job, the simpler it is for machines to take over. This plant requires only a few highly skilled technicians in its operation. Of the multitude of operations performed in an automated plant, only a few are done by hand. Most are performed by machines. Ultimately, a machine will perform this operation. Even the critical job of inspection, which is still done by human eyes, will soon be done by electronic eyes. Not many highly automated plants like this one exist as yet, and for the moment, newly gained benefits satisfy the majority of workers. Higher hourly pay scales, guaranteed annual wages, improved working conditions, regular hours and overtime pay make life relatively pleasant for these men and their families. These men and their co-workers all depend on the union as their bargaining agent with management. The principal union concern is to maintain jobs for all its members. No less important is securing a fair share of corporate profits, usually paid in higher wages, in fringe benefits, longer vacations, higher retirement pay, and in profit-sharing plans. Although some individual workers tend to be overwhelmed by the size of their union, they know that it gives them a voice in all union matters. Heated discussions are frequently generated whenever the topic of automation is raised. Although the unskilled worker stands to lose the most from growing automation, even the skilled worker fears the threat that someday he too will be replaced by a machine. Giant automatic welders can perform 250 operations in less than a minute and replace all but a few individual workers. Machines like these increase production. Yet, these machines benefit the workers by eliminating hazardous and trying jobs. When automatic fingers handle steel, no man is crippled, no hands are crushed, no one is ever burned. Automation presents both labor and management with specific problems, and all benefit from the new technology. Labor and management agree that in this new technology, education and retraining are essential. Companies will invest in highly motivated employees. They will help support a man who wants to complete his education or learn a skill. Industry too must progress. To survive, a company must constantly improve in order to stay in business in a competitive market. High volume production at minimum cost per unit is the goal of industry in our consumer-oriented society. The flow of product is pointless, however, unless consumers have the money to buy them. And among the country's biggest consumers are the industrial workers. The very people whom automation threatens to replace make up one of the largest segments of our society. They are vital buyers of goods. They have achieved a standard that matches their wages, the highest in the world. Jerry Suminski and Joe Williams, like most of their fellow workers, rear families, plan for tomorrow, and make the best of today. Jerry strongly identifies with his own community. He participates in its welfare and contributes to its advantages. Joe, too, assumes leadership in his community. He spends much of his free time in athletics and youth guidance. With automation already established, freedom from physical toil becomes a real possibility for the workers. With all these changes, however, come challenges to the individual. Challenges in learning, in outlook, and in living for the industrial worker, the maker and shaper of goods.
(1970) is when that film came out, and there's a lot that we can look at and kind of look back with hindsight. And certainly automation is something that we're thinking about again in another portion of the job force in some of the service industry stuff, specifically delivery, some other things as well that are escaping me. But anyways, I love watching films like this. Plus, the manufacturing process is glorious. Excuse me. All right, I got another. Now let's watch like what I got set up on the film scanner behind me. This is from a collector in San Francisco, and he sent me a bunch of stuff to scan, which we've been watching, the circus footage, stuff like that. So this is a bunch of TV movie trailers. So it's a variety of different film stocks, a variety of different films. So enjoy.
Hey, all you roaring cowboys, ain't this a pretty sight? Red garters on a dancing girl, we'll have a time tonight.
With a hoop and a holler and a dime and a dollar, I'm a lucky son of a gun. Wherever I go, I guess you know I tip my hat to none.
Listen to that applause, folks. What an ovation. And here's the reason. This charming lady broke all kinds of records in her last picture, and here she is again. Miss Grace Moore, bringing you the grandest of all melodramatic musical romances, Love Me Forever. Columbia Pictures selected Leo Carrillo from all the stars in Hollywood to play this great part, the finest he's ever had. And how the girls like the twinkle in Robert Allen's blue eyes. And frankly, we don't blame them. Now meet the man we're jealous of, Michael Bodden. Miss Moore picked him herself as the screen's new Romeo. And wait till you hear him sing. We'll let Louis Alferni speak for himself.
Porco di Bacco.
When a cast like this is topped by Miss Grace Moore and directed by Victor Scherzinger, the same director whose inspired work created One Night of Love, we don't have to tell you what a rare treat you'll enjoy when you see Love Me Forever. But it's not all music and laughter. It's truly a great dramatic story.
I tell you, Stefano, that woman, she's going to take you for a ride. She is just a woman.
Oh, darling, I'm so happy.
What a chump you turned out to be. Shooting the works in a dame like that and having her run out on
Hey,
you.
cut out that.
You're not going to run out on me.
Here's a sample of the thrill Miss Moore's heavenly voice will bring you.
Never was a picture so eagerly awaited. Never was a star so universally acclaimed. The management of this theater takes great pride in announcing Grace Moore in Love Me Forever.
A fascinating film about stubborn, bloodthirsty pirates. But when a crew such as this is determined to board a ship, they do it with violence. Fire! The three pirates, with a brilliant cast headed by Channing Pollock, Angeli, Aldo Ray, Philip Clay, Robert Alder, and Raymond Bussière. The film which sheds new light on the world of piracy. A show you won't want to miss.
Invincible enemies, inseparable friends. Invaluable friends or dangerous enemies as the case may be of kings, of cardinals.
Musketeers, one for all, and all for one.
Upholding justice and beautiful women. And downing enemies attempting relentlessly to pit them one against the other. Now that destiny has united them, nothing is impossible.
Perfect example of ethics.
You who hide your face behind a mask.
Just as I always leave my signature. On guard. And here it is.
Great friends, dangerous enemies.
This is counterfeit money. Counterfeiting began as soon as the first dollar bill was printed, and it has been going on ever since. One counterfeiter eluded the Secret Service longer than any other in their history. He was known as Mr. 880, and Mr. 880 didn't even know how to spell Washington correctly.
Seemed too silly that you'd suspect me of counterfeiting. I thought I'd give you ample cause.
You weren't very good at it.
I suppose I could be arrested for flouting the law.
Yes, you could.
Shall we go now? Or shall we finish the dance?
I'll call the shots. Until further notice, you're being held in technical custody.
Ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, these belong to a lieutenant. Beat a cat. One of the stinkinest.
Katie, stop it! That's not decent!
What's the matter? Don't you like kitty poo-poo at home? It's part of the do-it-yourself craze.
Katie! Katie! Katie, stop it!
Tramp. Shh. That's the PA kettle.
That's the new boss?
That's it.
Now just take a deep breath and let go. Knew she'd work.
Bob! Bob, what's wrong? Answer me!
I got one of them. You stay here. I'll find out where he is.
3 men carry Pa through jungle, that way.
They're the kidnappers. Connecticut. Fire!
It's the Ritz Brothers in their latest brainstorm, Never a Dull Moment, with Francis Langford, Mary Beth Hughes, Stuart Boyd Crawford, George Zuko, and Franklin Pangborn. Booked into a nightclub, the boys are mistaken for 3 gangsters, and the laughs come thick and fast when their partner turns out to be a beautiful blonde jewel thief.
It's a frame-up.
Seems to come to our tide. We all never jump like this. No cops! No cops! No cops!
Sleepy time girl, you dance the evening away.
We sang in opera when opera was opera.
The world's most famous swordsman, D'Artagnan, Porthos, Aramis, Athos. Here is a fast-moving story of ambush and betrayal.
You're suggesting that I betray a guest.
It might mean the salvation of France.
Your Majesty.
Stand still. Don't move. What a nice trio of traitors.
Thrilling. Amusing. Adventurous. Dramatic. Here is entertainment. Here are thrills.
Concentrate your fire on the first ship. It's Morgan's.
Without ships, you can't get back to Tortuga. Follow me to Panama or rot on this beach. Or you can kill me.
Plus hundreds of never-to-be-forgotten scenes. See the slave market where beauty is for sale. See Tortuga, capital of the pirate empire. See the exotic dance of the Indies. See the mutiny of the galley slaves on the high seas. See the punishment of the pirates in a barbaric age. See the sack of Panama, Queen City of the Spanish Main.
Morgan the Pirate.
From beyond the grave comes blood-freezing horror as an ancient curse brings paralyzing terror to all who know the terrible secret of the 4 skulls of Jonathan Drake.
Jonathan Drake, of all men, should know how futile that would be. Since you know that I'm dead, you know that you can't kill me.
Don't wait, Dad! Dad!
Bridget Todd in a powerful and penetrating performance, and in the casting sensation of this or any other year at his terrifying best in an entirely new kind of role. Peter Sellers as the man who would never let go, tough, ruthless.
What are you trying to do? You, Tommy, and that creeping salesman. You're gonna ruin me between you. Don't you realize this stuff could be traced?
Elizabeth Sellers as the wife who must watch the man she loves destroy her whole world. Introducing two exciting new stars, Adam Faith and Carol White.
I'll get this out. You leave it where it is! But why? I'll tell you why. Because he thinks it's here. That stupid little thinks it's here. And he's gonna come back for it. This time, I'll kill him. Wait, and I'll stick his body in his precious car, set fire to it, and I'll dump the whole... Just so we'll end the...
If this house was good enough for Edgar Allan Poe, it's good enough for us.
Hey, why don't you watch where you're going? Hey, that guy didn't know where he was going. Fool! Dad, watch out! You're getting too close. Hey, where do you think you're going? Watch out!
Well, I'm terribly sorry, but the doorknob came off. I'm going to have to get somebody to let me out of here. Peggy!
You know what I wish we had? Another little party.
You mean a drink?
Oh, yes, Marty and I always take a little something to relax us before going to bed.
That old black magic has me in its spell. That old black magic that you weave so well. When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you.
Tell us, Henri, tell us. It is Lily. She has betrayed me. Last night she was in the arms of another man.
What you did last night was utterly contemptible. You knew I thought you were my husband.
Sure I did. We had a lot of fun, didn't we?
Oh, you vulgar, insufferable...
Wait a minute. What's the matter with what I did? Didn't you like my performance?
I certainly did not.
Well, I'd like to know anyone who could have done better. You do the eagle rock with such style and grace. You put your left foot out. You bring it back. That's what I call balling the jack.
Oh, 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 the puppet, a fellow that you ought to know.
Happy ending every time.
Drama, tense and gripping beyond words, painted in the flaming red of murder, the searing white of desire, the brooding black of betrayal.
You're my wife. You don't go anywhere alone.
Matt, you're hurting me.
Portrait in Black, starring Lana Turner.
Shall I get a doctor? Huh? How about your friend Rivera? Quiet, honey. Quiet, baby.
One Desire. Starring Ann Baxter as the notorious Tacy, who tried to turn her back on her reputation. Rock Hudson as Clint Saunders, who'd gamble on anything, even love. Julie Adams as Judith, rich, spoiled, but she offered a shortcut to success.
And you have been a dance hall girl since 16.
And still you consider yourself fit to care for 2 children?
You married me, and you're going to stay married to me. So sneak around back alleys if that's the kind of man you are. Carry on in dark corners with that tramp. I'm sure she'll be more than willing.
Why, Daisy, why? Why do people make such bad mistakes before they learn?
How many times have I asked myself that question?
Against an unleashed flood of Roman legions, one man with the strength of many fights determinedly. He is Glaucus, son of Hercules, the hero leader of the Britons. Depravity, treachery, the soul of the devil in a beautiful woman. Against this evil, Glaucus hurls more than just his defiance. Fiendish torture to satisfy the bloodlust of a crazed Caesar. To free his beloved and his enslaved countrymen, Glaucus, son of Hercules, alone defies an empire and the power-hungry Messalina. A film packed with action, breathtaking in its suspense, adventure and danger beyond endurance. See Glaucus, son of Hercules, pit his might against overwhelming odds and the evil heart of a beautiful woman. Produced in the tradition of great spectaculars, see Messalina against the son of Hercules.
Yes, Buona. They were picked up near the animal pens. You used these to scare the animals so they'd break out and go free, didn't you?
No, Buona.
You don't like animals caged, do you?
Answer me!
MacDonald Carey as Stratton the White Hunter. Rhonda Fleming as Dr. Muir.
We're living in the bush. I don't want the responsibility of a woman on the place.
Good vets don't grow on trees, you know.
You're good, huh?
Yes, very.
And modest.
George! George, it's got my handkerchief! George! George, it's got me! Let go! What? Ah! Get away, let go! Oh, George!
This is Dumer as a Dongo, the jungle boy you loved in Safari, whose grin tames the heart of men and wild animals.
So she died.
The chimp died because he was sick. Now get out and water the animals, okay?
No, not okay. You make Aklipus chain.
You kill Aklipus! Get out and do as you're told!
Here's a film that takes you into a new realm of excitement and emotion, where a boy can teach a man something new about courage and a woman something new about love.
What have I done that makes things so different?
Dan.
I understand the things I see. I understand when two people fall in love. When there was nothing between us but the sky. And you kissed me and the earth didn't move. Remember that? It stood still like it was waiting for us. Don't tell me we didn't become part of each other when that happened.
that was a lot of great stuff there. A lot of some B pictures, a lot of some British stuff in there. It's funny, the stuff at the end, faded Ektachrome, even though in the title it says in Technicolor. And what's interesting is on eBay, people, collectors or people selling stuff will say this film is in Technicolor, and it's like, no, it's not. It was originally in Technicolor, but this is a crappy Ektachrome print, or Eastman color print. So really fascinating stuff. Anyhow, thanks so much for tuning in today. We will be back on Monday. I'm going to try to plan a special 4th of July thing. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But if you like what you saw, hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, hit the whatever button, the positive reinforcement button that has been provided to you in your social media platform. You can also buy us coffee at ko-fi.com/abgeeks. But thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys. I enjoy doing this, but I super enjoy doing it with people who also enjoy it. And so everybody have a great rest of your day, and we will see you soon. Have a great weekend. Have a good, safe weekend. Take care of yourself. Stuff like that. Take care.